Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling lake, lived a young woman named Elara. Elara was known throughout the village for her radiant smile and her heart that knew no bounds. But there was a secret hidden behind her cheerful demeanor. Every night, when the moon bathed the world in its silvery light, Elara would sneak out of her house and run to the lake. There, she would do the one thing she loved more than anything else in the world: swimming. Elara's passion for swimming was unparalleled. She would spend hours upon hours in the water, feeling the cool, refreshing water envelop her body and the soothing waves calming her soul. The villagers, however, had a different view about the lake. They believed it was haunted by a fearsome monster that dragged unsuspecting swimmers to their doom. Their fears were especially strong at night, when the lake's surface would be ripped apart by unnatural and terrifying sounds. Because of this, they forbade anyone from entering the lake after sunset, and poor Elara had to hide her love for swimming from everyone. One day, a handsome young man named Kaelen came to the village. He was a renowned hero who was known for his bravery and strength. Unlike the other men in the village, Kaelen wasn't afraid of the lake. In fact, he believed that the stories of the lake monster were nothing but myth. To prove his point, he announced that he would swim across the lake at night. The entire village gathered at the lake shore that night, their faces pale with worry as they watched Kaelen take off his clothes and jump into the dark water. As the minutes turned into hours, the crowd grew restless. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream tore through the night, sending shivers down everyone's spine. When they turned back to the lake, they saw a dark shape thrashing in the water. Then, just as quickly as it appeared, it vanished. The villagers began to panic, convinced that the monster had gotten Kaelen. But the next morning, much to everyone's surprise, Kaelen returned to the shore, safe and sound. When questioned, Kaelen explained that he had encountered a water spirit, not a monster, and that it had tried to drag him into the depths of the lake, but he had managed to escape its grasp and swim to safety. Although no one had seen the water spirit, they all believed Kaelen's story. From that day on, the villagers no longer feared the lake. However, what they didn't know was that Kaelen had actually made up the story. He had seen Elara swimming in the lake and wanted to help her break free from the constraints of the village's superstitions. So he devised a plan as soon as the sun dipped below the horizon. He slipped into the lake and made a loud splashing noise to startle Elara. Then he pretended to be a ferocious monster, hoping it would scare her away. But Elara, who had been expecting an attack from the mythical beast, was prepared. She fought back against the monster, trying to defend herself with all her might. This, of course, only fueled Kaelen's plan, as it looked to the others like a wild animal trying to drag her under. After ensuring everyone had witnessed her struggle, Kaelen surfaced near her and offered a hand of support. Then together, they swam to shore and collapsed onto the grass, catching their breath. It was then that Elara noticed the admiration and understanding in Kaelen's eyes. For the first time, she realized that she wasn't alone in her love for swimming. Overjoyed, she took Kaelen's hand and they raced back to the lake to swim together under the moonlight. The two spent many nights swimming in the lake, and their love for each other grew, as did their friendship. Eventually, their bond became so strong that Kaelen decided to reveal his feelings for Elara. One starlit night, as they lay on the shore, watching the Milky Way stretch across the night sky, Kaelen confessed his love for Elara. He told her how her spirit, like the water, was free and unbound. And he wanted to be with her, not just as friends, but as something more. Elara, who had harbored feelings for Kaelen since the first time she saw him, couldn't help but smile. She had found someone who accepted and loved her for who she was, and she couldn't have been happier. The two then sealed their love with a kiss under the moonlight, promising to spend the rest of their lives together.